Hello everybody, my name is Elena, and you all probably realize that today's youth are very important to our society's future. We all try to teach them how to be the best they can be, but do video games promote or inhibit that? I believe video games help children learn and grow and are not the cause of violence among youth. But let's look at some evidence. There's an article by Tibu Pui that's called "Do Violent Video Games Really Make Children Aggressive?" And he talks about extensive research and many studies that have been done that have come to the conclusion that video games do promote a risk factor for heightened aggression. Now, although there have been many studies, in the same article, Pui talks about how these studies are inconsistent and insufficient. These studies have not researched any other factors other than video games. So if the youth had other factors in their lives that could make them violent, they weren't focused on that. They only looked at if children were violent and also played video games. There's another source who agrees with Pui, named by Christopher J. Ferguson, and the article is called "Video Games Don't Make Kids Violent." And he says that the research has also not been extensive enough. Violence has actually gone down while sales of video games have gone up. And these studies have not taken that into account. Now, if video games are being sold more and more while violence among children is less, that shows that the evidence may not be conclusive in these studies. Another source by Elizabeth Tepanier and Catherine Lyons is called "Selection Criteria for Academic Video Game Collections." They talk about having video games in colleges. Now, this isn't really about youth, but it's talking about how video games can actually help people learn instead of promoting these bad behaviors that some people think that video games do promote. There's two schools that have these video game libraries already in them, including MIT and Georgia Tech. And these libraries, they use them to teach graphic arts and other types of artistic video game research studies. There's also another college, University of Illinois, that uses video games for more than just artistic studies, such as interdisciplinary programs, scholarly research, and student needs. Student needs could be anything from releasing stress to actually learning, and video games help all of that. There's another source called "Assessing Higher Order Thinking in Video Games" by John W. Rice, and he talks about not just using these basic video games to help kids learn, but also using more advanced video games, because all video games can help kids learn and grow. He talks about a game called Revolution that teaches social studies in its maps and worlds. And there's another game called Math Blasters that helps kids learn math. Now, these are the basic games that kids use when they would like to learn, and teachers also use them to help kids learn. But other types of video games can also help these kids, such as virtual reality. Just the whole concept of it can help exploration and perception. Kids are learning to look at their surroundings and study what is around them. Now, Rice comes up with a rubric for teachers to use in order to choose video games that may be helpful to teaching in their classrooms. And in this rubric, he asks many questions and gives a point system. And he asks questions like, does the game contain puzzles that the player has to solve? Does it have a complex storyline that they follow and maybe get into? Do the people have to interact with the environment? Do they have to study what's around them and get to know and pay attention to their surroundings? Because this all helps kids learn and grow. Now, I grew up playing video games such as Halo and Call of Duty, and even those games can help. They can teach team building because those games are mainly team-based and you have to work together in order to achieve your goal. Another game that's a personal favorite of mine is Minecraft, and that's actually been used in schools already to help teach. You can go as basic from it's a creative outlet, or kids can come up with their own buildings and creations in the game and show off what their brain can do and expand what they know. Or there's more complex things such as wiring and computer programming that the game teaches. And a lot of video games do teach really useful things like this. But in conclusion, video game studies are not very consistent and they haven't had enough research about them. But according to many players of video games and families and teachers of these players, video games are very helpful to kids to help them learn and become better for themselves and others. Thank you.